And what do the Mexicans think about all the Americans that are moving here into Mexico City? Where are you from?
Chicago.
And why do you think so many Americans want to move here to Mexico City? ¿Qué es su mensaje a todos los americanos?
Que por favor.
Mexico has erupted as anti-American protesters have taken.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
Yeah, what? Isn't this ironic? Wouldn't this be considered irony at some capacity? No. I just learned what irony means the other day. Someone was, they were scrutinizing me, like telling me that Alanis Morissette's song isn't really ironic. So I looked it up in ChatGPT and it said, technically it's not. There's only these 3 moments in the song that are ironic. And I was like, isn't that ironic? Yo, Mexico erupts in anti-American protesters, attacks U.S. migrants. Now, it's funny because in America, you know, when Americans say, hey, let's get the illegal migrants out, the illegal migrants, keyword illegal, meaning they're not here legally. I'm willing to bet, now you guys can go crazy in the comments. I'm just going on a limb here. I'm willing to bet the Americans that are in Mexico are there legally, meaning they have a visa, have their passport, they're able to be there. Now, I'm sure there's a few of them overstaying their welcome at some capacity, but I'm willing to bet that those Americans are there legally. Okay, I digress. In America, there's a lot of protesting, a lot of things going on where the majority of Americans, are tired of resources, American tax dollars and resources going to people who are not citizens of the country. And so, they started the ICE process in America, and there's just a lot of backlash for that, right? There's all these protests in California, Chicago, et cetera, et cetera. No, this is racist, this is that, this is the other. When, in my opinion, I don't think it's racist. I think the pejorative Americans don't want governmental resources going to people who are not citizens of our country. And people are tired of us putting resources into, like right now, Americans want to focus on America as the dollar's being devalued, as, the dollar might even collapse. They're talking about, anyways, that's a whole nother story for another video. I'm going to talk about the dollar collapse and potentially going into stable coins, which is a big possibility when you start looking at the statistics. But anyways, now they're protesting. This is just funny. They're protesting Americans being in Mexico. Let's get into it, man. This kid's channel is so fire. His name is Nick Shirley. Hell yeah. I'm just going to subscribe. I wasn't subscribed, but Nick, you got it from me. Nick frickin' Shirley. Let's go. He's out there in these streets. Rock with him. If you rock with me, like, share, comment, subscribe. Link in the description of my other channels. Let's frickin' go. Hopefully these sound effects in here don't get the copyright claim from some of these ludicrous companies. Copyright claim everything, but let's see what's popping.
Americanos.
Que por favor.
Mexico has erupted as anti-American protesters have taken to the streets as they are against American migrants or digital nomads moving into their city, as it has raised the cost of rent and people believe it has gentrified some of the areas, which is true. A lot of the areas in La Condesa, Roma specifically, have been gentrified because of United States citizens moving to Mexico City because they can live a lot cheaper lifestyle while making US dollars inside of Mexico. So this is what happened when Mexican protesters took to the street against Americans moving into their city.
So before we get after it, I'm not saying they ain't wrong. Like, with the way things work with like gentrification, the concept of gentrification, that's what happens. Typically, people with money move in, the price of things go up, and the people without money move out. Unless you're in Denver or California, they just start sleeping on your front porch. Because the homeless in Denver is insane. I live in Colorado for the people that don't know. So anyways, let's keep going. Let's see where we're going. You damn gringos, man. I'm so tired of y'all, man. Y'all taking up everything. Yo, son, they just said gringos at the beginning of this. This is insane to me, guys. Anyways, I got my piece to say. Tap in the comments. Let's go. the back of his jacket look like a swastika, though? What is going on, man? Y'all see this? Like, what is that? It's like axes that look like a swastika. And some people will be like, no, the swastika goes the opposite way. I don't know. I didn't study swastikas. I don't wear swastikas, bro. I'm just saying that's crazy. Am I tripping? Anyways, y'all let me know. Imagine protesting the gringos that are bringing money to your country. I get the gentrification stuff, but just hear me out. Imagine protesting the gringos that bring money to your spot and not protesting the cartels. Who makes living in Mexico worse? The gringos bringing money to your country or the cartel? Answer in the comments. I might just be delusional. You know, I wasn't the top of the class, so I don't know shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I say shit. Y'all landslide me all the time. Sometimes I get it wrong. That's just what comes to the top of my brain when I see something like this. And, you know, you see people crying. I mean, the cartels are obviously more violent, but it's just interesting, like, to actually mobilize a group of people in this fashion and this many. I was just like, oh, shit, you know. But again, we can't do this in America. If we do this in America, we're racist. If we speak out against and I'm not even saying illegal immigrants, migrants, anything. Let's just keep it simple. Let's keep it real. Let's be straightforward. If we speak out against our government spending resources on people who are not citizens, we're racist.
And they started targeting American-owned businesses like Rip and Dip, and they also went to restaurants as they started breaking glass, and one person even had a knife as he was trying to break through the glass at one of these buildings. While locals, tourists, and Americans were inside of these restaurants and these shops, they were terrified for their life as these protesters seemed like they were going to attack. And this is what some of the protesters had to say.
Did you see that? It said kill a gringo. Now this is where Team Light Skin comes in, baby. I ain't gonna lie. I have privilege. Yo, my homie Chino XL said I'm black when convenient. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I can just move and shake, bro. I go to Mexico. Even when I was in the East Coast, I remember I was in Providence in I think it was like the Dominican hood. I walk into a Walmart. They just start kicking Spanish to me, you know? All I need to learn is Spanish, and I'm almost good anywhere in the world. I just kind of have that if I was in the Middle East, grow a little beard, throw on a turban, we good. I'm in America, we good. I'm in Mexico, we good. But my wife, bro, and my kids, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that, some people will detract from me and say, you're not black, and because you didn't marry a black woman, this, that, and the other. I honestly, truly married for love. That was it. There's a few other things in there where it was also like me and my wife, when we met, my wife was really good with children. She was babysitting. I shouldn't even have to explain this. So I'm not going to F what people are talking about. I get a lot of scrutiny not being with a black woman or a Latin woman or someone who looks more like me. And but at the same time, I don't care. I love my family and I want to protect them. And when I see stuff like this, it's like you don't think they fall under this gringo category? And if they were doing this to black folks, if they were doing, hey, you can't really say this. That's what's funny. You can say kill the gringo on here, but you can't say kill the darky. Or you get, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just speaking like if they were saying that, I'd be on the same rant. Like, yo, these people look like my father, and it just is what it is. So I just struggle with this because that's just wild. Like when you literally just say, that's crazy. You know what's funny? What is a gringo, y'all? Can we keep it real? What is it, the mestizos? I forget the whole lineage because I ain't Mexican, so I don't study that. But, all of them have European blood. So if a gringo has something to do with being white and European, it ain't like they weren't conquered and colonized in Mexico. So what the are they talking about? Or am I tripping? Am I just mixing up history? Because I don't know Mexican history like that. But I know they ain't like indigenous. These MFers aren't 100% indigenous. Look at this fool. Come on now. Anyway.
La gentrificación es este proceso por el cual las personas originarias de los barrios se ven desplazadas por gente con mayor poder adquisitivo. Es decir, gente que viene de otros países, en su mayoría extranjeros, a querer imponer su cultura, sus precios y desplazar a los mexicanos, a los nativos de estas tierras.
Principalmente si van a venir a vivir a un país, tienen que contribuir a ese país, ¿no? La primera y la cuestión más sencilla es la migración legal. Ellos vienen aquí con visas o no visas y todavía la cambio y el poder adquisitivo genera estos problemas de gentrificación.
See, he's addressing what I said earlier, but he's implying that even if they come here legally, that them bringing in all this money, raising the living cost for the locals, which this is a problem, you guys. I get it. Like that, I'm living this right now. I live this. Colorado. I remember about 6, 7, 8 years ago, every tabloid said the greatest state to live in is Colorado. The best city is Denver. The best city is Colorado Springs. These are the greatest. Everyone moved here. Now the price of living, it's crazy, you guys. I just watched a whole little documentary about how all the locals are leaving Colorado because they can't afford to live here anymore. So what he's speaking about is real, but us locals don't go out protesting and start talking about kill people because the prices of shit went up. You maneuver. You figure it out. But again, I just think it's interesting because if we do this in America, we're considered bigots, racist, evil, blah, blah, blah. But when they do this in all these other countries, they're just, they're cool. And I get it. America's on top, kind of. Dude, America is seeing some crazy stuff, you guys. Don't be oblivious. Like, I love America. I'm proud to be an American, but I'm not sitting here like, bro, America's holding some L's right now. And I don't know where we going, but anyways.
I'm here because gentrification is just one more step towards colonization, dispossession, and the exploitation of our resources.
Hold on, man. What is she talking about? Hold up, bruh. Hold on. When was Mexico colonized? Mexico was colonized in 1519 when Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés landed on the coast near what is now Veracruz. Here's a quick timeline. 1519. I'm watching a video where this Mexican woman is mad that Americans are moving to Mexico and raising the price and the cost of living, aka gentrification. Period. Then she starts to mention this is like colonization. And I'm thinking to myself, they've already been colonized. Am I tripping? I just got to get my thoughts out. I wish one of you guys were here to talk to me, but I'm just like, what? They've already been colonized. Like, anyways. You're right. Mexico has already been colonized by Spain centuries ago. What she's describing isn't colonization. It's historical sense of Spain conquering the territory, overthrowing governments, and imposing a foreign empire that was the original colonization. What she's probably getting at is metaphorical comparison. Okay, got it. So I was just like, yo, they've already been colonized. Like, what the is this broad talking about? Y'all can hear it again with me.
Estos problemas de gentrificación y desplazamiento, ¿no?
I'm here because gentrification is just one more step towards colonization, dispossession, and the exploitation of our resources.
But they've already been colonized. Can you get double colonized? Can you get double colonized for 200, Pat?
Right now it's about the people, but it won't be long before they run out of oil, water, or lithium in other countries and come and take them from us.
And just a few months back, I actually went to Mexico City to talk with people around the area of La Condesa, as so many Americans have moved into Mexico pursuing no longer their American dream, but pursuing the Mexican dream, as they can live a lot cheaper lifestyle inside of Mexico while still making money inside of the United States with their laptop. So I hit the streets to speak with both Americans and Mexicans to see their thoughts on why so many Americans are moving and to hear what the Mexicans had to say about so many Americans moving into the city.
Why'd you guys move here to Mexico?
Honestly, to have an opportunity to live in a place that's so international and it has all of the perks of a big city and metropolis, and but at the same time is kind of sexy. It's been that's why.
What do you guys think about Mexico City?
I mean, I got here yesterday, so I'm not really
And
sure
you?
it's great. Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful.
Is the quality of life better here than in the United States?
I think it's comparing apples and oranges. I think there's a lot of differences that we kind of give up to live here, but things are a lot better here than they are back yeah.
Where are you from?
That's interesting because that just reminded me how many times I've been to Mexico. Bro, don't drink the water and don't let them put ice cubes in your drinks. I'm just going to say that. That's one of the things you give up living in Mexico.
Mexico City.
And what do you think about all the Americans moving here to Mexico?
I don't understand. I don't know. Why are they here? They like it. It's cheaper.
¿Qué piensan los mexicanos de todos los estadounidenses que están viniendo aquí?
La verdad, les están quitando mucho trabajo a los mexicanos. Y aparte están invadiendo casas, o sea, se las rentan, y invaden las casas y se quieren apropiar de ellas.
Yeah.
Damn, she's MAGA? What the hell? Hold on. Make Mexico great again. Mama. That's mama. Make Mexico great again, y'all. Mugma. I don't know how to enunciate it, but that's what she sound like, huh?
Entonces, como los mexicanos están un poco enojados con todos.
Claro que estamos enojados.
¿Y piensan que los estadounidenses deberían quedarse en su propio país?
Pues claro, porque aquí tienen todo de pechito. ¿Por qué no dejan a los mexicanos trabajar allá? Allá luego que anda la migra y eso, y los encuentran, van para afuera, Allá.
She's actually cooking. She's cooking. I'm not even mad at her. One, I'm not an arrogant American. I might kind of come off brash when I do these conversations, but when I'm in other countries, I'm tipping everyone. I'm blessing people with bread. I'm enjoying the culture, respecting the culture, and then I'm ghost. Then I go back home. So that's me. That's what I do. But when you talk about this, it's just, she's spitting because she's like, well, if they're going to, deport us and not let us be in America and work, why are they coming here to work? Preach. However, the nuance to that is the Americans aren't technically, from what he's covering, stealing the Mexican jobs because they're digital nomads. So they're working for American, Chinese, Indian companies, digital tech companies, and they're just living there, spending their money and resources there. So I'm sure there's a deeper conversation there. We're going to tap out of this pretty soon because we're almost at 20 minutes. But, bro, I like watching stuff like this. This is tight.
Así los regresan. Le digo porque yo tengo familiares que estuvieron allá y los regresan.
And why do so many Mexicans want to leave to go to the United States? Because, I mean, here it looks pretty nice. We're in an awesome park. Everyone's nice.
This is an upscale place. I mean, this is an upper middle class neighborhood. But the Mexicans who migrate to the United States are in search of jobs and better opportunities that they don't have here.
Is there a lot of gentrification that happens here inside this part of Mexico where we're at right now?
Yeah. All of this area is being gentrified. People from the United States and Europe come to live here, is raising rents and things like that.
All right, we're going to tap out. I want you guys to go to his channel and watch this. Look how much is left. And these interviews are epic. It looks like he even got some protest stuff going. Actually, let's check this out. Hold on. I'm not mad at this because this is what we ask for in America. Pay taxes, speak Spanish, use pesos, or get out of here. It's your country. I'm not mad at Mexican people speaking up for their I'm not. I'm just here to say, why are y'all mad when Americans speak up for their When we speak up for our stuff, all of a sudden we're all these titles. I'm not mad at that. I'm really not. I'm not. The funny thing is, I don't think the taxes are as crazy in Mexico as they are in America. I could be wrong. Hold on. Let's ask real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. Do Mexicans pay more in taxes to their country/government than Americans pay taxes? hopefully it's not some crazy, because sometimes ChatGPT don't just know how to give you a quick answer. It's like, well, let's dive into this. Mexicans overall pay less in total taxes as a share of their economy compared to Americans. How it breaks down: tax burden, GDP. All right, I would have to study this a little bit more. I'm not going to speak out of my ass and boo-boo on America or Mexico. What I was trying to insinuate is, sometimes there's benefits about becoming a resident and becoming a citizen of certain countries because you get taxed less. Taxes in Europe and America, Europe are pretty damn high, and America's getting pretty damn high. So becoming citizens of some of these smaller countries sometimes benefits people. And this is why they call them, there's this channel I watch called Nomad Capitalist. And that's literally what he does. He gets people in countries that will accept them, that aren't all protesting like this, and it's easier on the pocketbook when it comes to the taxes. He literally works for clients and helps them move around the globe. So with that concept, it's funny. She's like, pay taxes, speak Spanish, use pesos. For me, I would just need to be out there for about 3 months, and I'd probably have a good kick on the Spanish. I grew up around a lot of Spanish. I just didn't learn. I'm half Mexican, so like I'm speaking as a black and Mexican dude. So I should know Spanish anyways. Change it to pesos, and motherfuckers ain't gonna know your bank account, bro. You could be holding your money and just whatever. I forget the word for exchanging it, like whatever. It really don't matter, But my question as we leave: does the country of Mexico, does the government dislike the Americans coming there, putting their money and spending their money? What does that look like? Is this an overall thing, or is this just affecting the people in this region? Because the other thing you got to start looking at is the root cause of this type of stuff. It's so easy to go beat up the Americans and be like, get out of here, da-da-da-da. But why are they there, and how is this allowed, right? Which what I'm getting at is the root cause could be like the government, even the cartels would be like, oh, this is good for business. The Americans come here and they buy this, they buy that, they do this. It's like Vegas, man, I believe it was like the Vegas Strip at one point. I might be tripping on this. I might blunder it. But the concept of the mob being in Vegas and, there just being like unsaid rules, like don't F up the money on the Strip. You guys can wild out wherever you want, but don't mess up the money on the Strip. I noticed it was like that in Mexico when I went to Cancun. It's like, yeah, the cartels are out here and we wilding, and every now and then they send a cocaine dealer or a Mary Jane dealer to the Strip to sell a little something. They got, brothels and all that out in Latin America, but essentially they're like, nah, don't F up the money. Yeah, this is the Strip, these hotels, these, resorts, don't mess up the money. So they get protected. Anyways, as I go out, let me know.
City boy, city boy.